Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Samantha and I'm one of the clinicians at Uplift Center for Grieving Children. Today I will be reading a story, and after the story I will be doing a short arts and craft activity if you'd like to join me for that. All you need for the arts and craft activity is a sheet of paper, a pencil or a pen, something to draw with, some crayons if you have them, and some markers. Okay, so if you'd like to get comfortable, we're going to go ahead and get started with the story. Oona, and the story is written by Kelly Dipucchio and illustrated by Raisa Figueroa. Oona was sweet and a little bit salty, like the ocean where she lived. She was also brave and curious, like most treasure hunters. When Oona was just a baby, no bigger than a scallop, she chased a pearl into the mouth of a whale. Lucky for her, she popped right back out. As the years passed, Oona found bigger treasure and even bigger trouble. It's a good thing she has Otto. Oona rescued Otto from an oyster net when he was just a pup. She taught him tricks like sit, roll over, walrus, and her favorite, pufferfish. Oona and Otto searched for treasure nearly every day. They uncovered keys and coins and buttons and bottles. Sometimes they even found lost gold, and sometimes lost glasses. But there was one special treasure Oona could never quite reach, the crown. It was extra sparkly in a way that made Oona's heart thump, but the crown was stuck deep in the rift and not a pole or a pail or the sticky stick of a snail could get it unstuck. Still, Oona was determined. Her next plan was a good one. She'd knock the crown loose. Unfortunately, the current shifted. The lobster crate and rock drifted, and the squid, well, see for yourself. It's hard to say who was more surprised when the water cleared, Oona or the shark. Her third plan most definitely would have worked if the crabs hadn't been so crabby and the waves been so wavy. And if that long ship plank hadn't bumped her head hard before the greedy rift gobbled it up too. Poor Oona. This was getting personal. She shouted into the pit, "You can keep your dumb crown. I quit." Generally speaking, mermaids are not quitters. But at this point, one could hardly blame her. Instead of looking for treasure with Otto, Oona napped on the rocks with the sea lions. She drew pictures in the sand with the starfish, and she read from her favorite glass bottles with her land friends. All of this would have been perfectly fine, except Oona wasn't perfectly fine. Clearly, she was missing her spark, and a mermaid without her spark is like a seagull without an appetite, unnatural. A seashell washed ashore. Oona studied it thoughtfully. It gave her an idea. She got right to work. The next day, Oona peered nervously into the rift. Why did it look so much deeper and scarier than she remembered? Otto pretended to be a narwhal, making Oona laugh. Admittedly, the new treasure hunting goggles she'd invented were funny looking, but they were also her best shot at reaching the crown. She dove to the bottom of the murky rift. That's when Oona noticed something she couldn't see from above. A bridge. A bridge made from a crate and a rock, and the very same plank that had plunked her on the head, and it led straight to the crown. But what was that rumbling sound? It grew louder and louder. The ocean floor shook and the water around Oona churned into a thick stew of swirling sand and sea creatures. She couldn't see. She felt trapped. Would the hungry rift gobble her up too? Through the commotion, Oona could hear something else in the distance. It was faint but comforting and familiar. The whales! Oona sang along until the rumbling stopped and the water cleared. Finally, this was her chance. Oona held her breath. Ready? Steady. Aim! Hooray! We did it, Oona cheered, placing the crown on her best friend. It really is beautiful, she gushed. But these? Oona said excitedly, holding up her new goggles. These are spectacular. Otto agreed, because sometimes the best treasure in the world isn't found. it's made. And that is the end of our story. Just before I flip the page and we start our activity, I'm going to give you a chance to get all the supplies that you need. If you want to pause me while you do that, you absolutely can. So all you need is a sheet of paper, something to draw on, a pencil or a pen, and something that you can color with if you have it. Okay. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be making a heart treasure map. I'm going to walk you through how to do it. And like you can see, you just need a couple of crayons, a pencil, and a sheet of paper. I chose to use crayons for mine. While we're doing this, I want us also to take a moment and think about a happy memory that we have. So our treasure for our map is going to be a memory that we have. Here we go. Step 1 is for you to draw a heart on your paper. And you can pause me at any point if you need to while you do your drawings and colorings, and then play me whenever you're ready to keep listening. So step 1 is you're going to draw a heart. Step 2, after you draw your heart, you're going to draw lines through your heart to create sections. You can draw as many lines as you want or as little lines as you want. So you can make your sections as big or as little as you want. Step 3. Step 3 is you're going to choose a spot on your heart in one of those sections, and you're going to put an X in that spot. That X marks where your treasure is going to be. And what's your treasure? So for this activity, I want us to take a moment and think about a happy memory that we have. For some of us, if we feel like we're comfortable doing that, we can think about a happy memory that we have with our person that died. So something that you remember doing with your person, something that your person did that makes you happy. Maybe it's their favorite song. Maybe it's a place that you went. Maybe it's something that you all did together. So a happy memory that you have with your person. And if we don't want to do a happy memory with a person, we can just do any happy memory. So anything that makes you happy. Okay, so once you mark your spot X, that's the place where you're going to either draw or write about your happy memory. So you can see on my heart, I put mine in the middle of my heart. And this is where my happy memory was going to go when I draw it in. Okay. After you do that, step 4 is you're going to draw or write in all the other sections of your heart about things that make you happy. So some of the things that make me happy are sunshine and the beach and dancing and listening to music. So I drew pictures or tried to draw pictures and wrote words for the things that make me happy in all the other sections. And you'll notice I have a very blank section right over here because I run out of things that make me happy, and that's okay. So if you're drawing or writing and you're like, kind of can't fill in all these sections, that's okay. You can just color it in, or you can keep it blank because maybe you'll come back to this drawing later and you'll put something else that maybe you'll have another happy memory that you can put in there. Okay, and then after that, step 5. So once you've drawn in all the things that make you happy and you've put in your happy memory in the section that you chose, you're going to go ahead and decorate your heart and your sheet of paper any way that you want to. So you can see I started coloring mine in and started highlighting the borders. And then I made a path. So I made a path by putting an X in any spot that I wanted to start and drawing dashes or lines to create a path that I or anybody looking at my map can follow to get to my treasure. And that is your heart treasure map. Thank you again for joining me. And I just want to remind you all that if you need any support over the summer, if you're having a little bit of a rough day, or you just feel like you need to talk to somebody with your grief, you can always call Uplift and the Philly Hope Line, and the phone number is right here on the screen. It is 1-833-745-4673. And the hours are right here for anybody that wants to give us a call. Thank you, and see you in the fall.